Well, in the eyes of the law and the state's constitution, everyone is supposed to be treated equally. But advocates for those experiencing homelessness say often those without a permanent place to stay are also without basic legal protections that we all take for granted. State lawmakers looking to change that.
Oftentimes when people are experiencing homelessness, people's rights are violated.
And that violation doesn't sit well with Ryan Hannon, Goodwill Northern Michigan's community engagement officer.
People's rights are everyone's rights, not just people who are housed, but also people experiencing homelessness.
So when Hannon read through the recently introduced Michigan House Bill 4919, which would establish a Bill of Rights for the homeless, he was quick to point out,
I don't see this as any special treatment. It's just trying to enforce the actual rights that people have for people who are homeless.
Hannon, who's been a longtime advocate, says the proposed legislation has a few hits.
I was intrigued by the language talking about the right to privacy to their information, because we do use a protected database that is kind of like medical records for homelessness. Oftentimes, people's information might be shared out of convenience of a good intention to help. But helping or hurting people's privacy is important.
The bill, which has been introduced in the State House, also ensures the right to public services, equal treatment by state and city agencies, the right to vote and attend school, amongst other things. They are rights entitled to every citizen, but Hannon admits can more easily be infringed upon if someone is homeless.
Well, we know that people who are experiencing homelessness are citizens and they do have rights.
But this, in Hannon's eyes, comes up a little short.
One thing I saw that was lacking was the protection of discrimination against housing access. But right now, you could be denied a housing application placement because you're homeless.
It's legislation that shouldn't be needed if everyone followed the Constitution and the law. But not everyone does. And that's why Hannon says addressing the issue is all the more important.
I'm glad people are looking out for the rights of people experiencing homelessness. I'm grateful to live in the city that also works to protect the rights of the people experiencing homelessness. Traverse City, through their Human Rights Commission, does have a homeless Bill of Rights that was passed a number of years ago, so we're glad to see the state catching up.
Well, Traverse City is not alone in having a local Bill of Rights for those experiencing homelessness. As for the statewide version, the House bill has just been introduced. It still has a long way to go before possibly becoming law.
Well, last week, News Channel 3 told you about a sewer line break in Three Rivers, dumping 500,000 gallons of raw sewage into the St. Joseph River.
At tonight, some folks living near that sewage treatment plant are dealing with the repercussions. They reached out to us for help and telling us that raw sewage had backed up into their homes, sometimes a lot of it. Our Autumn Pitcher spoke to one family who is still dealing with the mess and the smell. Autumn.
Yes, Andy, Jessica, the family I spoke to today is just fed up. Now the city has cleaned up the mess, but the family is still living with that awful stench.
It's awful. That place is nasty. It just keeps getting worse and worse every day.
500,000 gallons of untreated wastewater is running through the St. Joseph River. Taylor Davis, the superintendent at the Three Rivers wastewater treatment plant, says they were dewatering when a force main broke. Residents living nearby are now forced to deal with the consequences.
I opened the basement door here, gurgling, just gurgling. I went down there, it's just
We stepped off the
spewing.
bottom step and it came past our ankles then.
Nancy and Carrie Snyder live on Constantine Street. After the spill, sewage started bubbling into their home.
We have no hot water heater. We have no air conditioner. We have no washer, dryer, furnace, air.
Everything, all of our
toasted.
stuff's downstairs.
It's
It's
all
just
done, all
ruined.
but downstairs.
They're not the only ones living with the stench.
There was 4 houses on this block.
That one over there, the white one with the black shutters, they had it in their basement.
News Channel 3 went looking for answers from the city. They called a company to clean up the mess, pumping 4,000 gallons out of the home.
She told them to send the bill for this to us. I don't think anything's gotten paid yet.
I reached out to city manager Joe Bippis late this afternoon. We heard back.
You have to make a claim with our insurance company, and then they usually work it out between the homeowner insurance and our insurance, usually work out, who has to pay.
The Snyders tell me the city never told them. They don't think they're responsible.
We shouldn't be liable for it. Somebody needs to cough up some money and pay for this crap.
Bippis tells me that the city is spending $15 million to replace 6 pump stations that transfer waste material to the wastewater treatment plant to get treated. Now, he tells me that the spill did happen during the time of that project.